Okay, so I guess this is recording my screen, but I was gonna here's the thing. I don't really plan things. Like, I do them when I feel like when they need to be done. Like, that's the only way I can tell you. And that's just the way it works. That's how being the truth is. So, in earlier, I think it's in like 2000. Okay, when I first when I first came to Twitter, I was all about the earth because I had distanced myself so much from humanity because there was a time I could feel people's energy. Like it wasn't, I can't explain what it is, but I just felt. Now here's the thing, I felt like these people felt a certain way about me, but there's no way for me to actually know that's how they feel. I'm just judging off their actions and how they're treating me. And part of the way I judge that is how I see myself. And if I have a value on myself, if I'm judging myself value, I guess is in question. Because if I value myself, I shouldn't have to judge it against anything. I've already defined that I care about myself. I wouldn't have to keep redefining it unless I didn't care about myself and something came up that was contradicting to caring about yourself. And you decide to question yourself about it. Are there any times you didn't want to question yourself about it? Are you comfortable being who you are? There's a song called Let's Go to War. It's by Nothing More. Man, they made just some great songs. I love, I want to call it MTV, which is kind of weird because I remember MTV because I'm kind of old. But it basically says empty me. Like it's something you admit to yourself, like, oh my god, I'm chasing all these articles or things or information about this and that. You know what I'm not doing? I mean, I don't know what you're not doing, but somebody does. It's called the witness. So let's say that you decide that God does not exist. Okay? Alright. Now, if you've ever been like a depressed person, I will tell you that the person that can hurt you the most is yourself. I don't think anybody can hurt you more than yourself because you're part of the decision of deciding how much something hurts. Like you decide if it's unbearable. You're the one who decides that limit. And it doesn't matter what people really think about you if you only believe and refuse to accept what they say to you as true. You only believe what you're feeling emotionally is the truth of what they are. So you can just imagine, but you can't. It's just a lot of sorries and awkward moments because you ask questions that don't get asked. Like, what did you mean by that? Not in a weird way, just like you're like, well, can you explain that? Because you want to know more. And somehow you're like, see, you always shoot down my ideas. And I know that's not what I said. And I don't know if you've ever had experiences like that. Melissa is very special. I met her after Caitlin. Oh, yeah, pause. Here's what this is. This is completely random. It's not like I'm looking for new ways to reach out to you guys. I mean, I am not actively looking for a way. I am just being the way. I'm showing you like it's okay to be unique and that I see that you hear me. There's no other way to say it. Either I admit that there is influence from what I've been sharing or I decide that there isn't. And if there isn't, then why am I talking to you? If my influence isn't affecting your life, then why are you listening to me? And if you are listening to me and my influence isn't affecting your life, and I'm telling you over and over again, year after year after year, the message does not change. You might want to think about how you're living. Because if you don't register as love, you know, you reap what you sow, right? That's something humans believe because that's what they're taught. And unless you can prove differently, oh wait, you can. If you look around the world, why is evil in charge if you reap what you sow? If karma is working, why are we suffering? That's a good question, isn't it? Well, if you're dead, none of those things are working. Because those apply to the living. What the echoes are is that, okay, so as the truth, this is what God taught me. God said, every time sometimes I think it's the smart ass me, but it's only the way I perceive what the message is. That's what you have to understand. Like, you're going to take God's attitude as whatever you decide it is. And if you want to decide it's a certain way, that's fine. But if you have an often time where you're having an awkward, like, relationship with God, like, you might want to rethink how you see God. Because God's only there to help. And if you're believing in something that's not there to help, that's there to test you more than the fucking world, than the people you work with, than the people who break your heart, you mean there's more tests than this? There's something after this that I have to do, and there's more levels? Okay. I have a question. Is there any safe zones? Oh, that place is safe? No, I went there, it wasn't safe. I just want you to know. Will you tell the next person? No, you won't. Why? Oh, everybody's entitled to their own experiences. I don't know, maybe if we shared some of these horrible things, they wouldn't happen. Maybe if we grouped together and like stood up for the children, they wouldn't be getting sacrificed, molested, kidnapped, trafficked. You know what? I can't even talk about it. I can't. Because I already did that on Caden. I poured all our rage into that. That's what it was, our righteous rage. Like, you can, okay, so the thing is, okay, I don't like the term God because basically it's like you have all these basic concepts about what a God is. Okay, so to qualify to be a God, all we did was meet your qualifications. We have to be omniscient, which means we're always present. But it doesn't say where we're present. And there's nowhere else to be present except now. So, however you want to see it, if you're thinking about something we said at a moment in your life, that makes us present in that moment because we're the ones who said it. And that applies to everybody in your life. So if you label us as someone who's telling you something that sounds unique and makes logical sense, and you decide, you know what, that's different, maybe I should bookmark this. Maybe I should tell somebody else. Because nobody's agreeing with him, but he keeps saying the same stuff. Not only that, I haven't heard it anywhere else. But, do you know that this person gave out their social security number? Yeah, I gave you my social security number. You know why? Because if I'm clinging to what that means, and I'm using that to define who I am and who I can be, I think maybe I don't agree with you about what it means. So, here's what we do. We accept everything that you believe as truth. It's the least truth to you. I'm not going to argue with you. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I am God's heart and soul. I'm not being arrogant. This is what God has convinced me of because of our interactions. You can believe whatever you want. It doesn't matter what story you believe. The conclusion's always the same. Like, the cycles are over. Like, yes, that is the past. You were all those things. Maybe you were evil. Maybe you were wicked. Who cares? Because here's your chance now. And if you don't think you need that chance, okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't have that much self-worth. Like, I don't even feel like I deserve this life. Like, sometimes I'm so hard on myself. I'm just like, you fuck up. Are you kidding me? Like, how could you just fucking drop that, dude? You know you've been fucking up all week at work. Don't make messes. Like, you can't even do your fucking job right. Like, I don't have those moments that are intense like that. But I do say those things sometimes. Because they need to be said. Because I'm feeling that way. And if I don't get it out, then that means if I'm thinking about it, I'm holding on to it. And I already know that's not the way to go. Because that shit piles up and you can't get out, and that's all you think about. Like every time something happens, you're like, yep, that's my fault. That's what it is to be God. You want to be God, you start there. You want to make up with God, you want to accept God into your life, you're not comfortable using the name of Jesus Christ, here's what you do. You take everything you believe that love is, you might want to look at it and make sure that you want to include that in your eternal love. Like, I don't want to have ups and downs in my eternal love. What? I, I don't want to experience anything else except eternal love. Like, why are there categories? You might want to think about that. And if you're including things that are painful or suffering, or love does those things but isn't those things. That's what I was trying to explain. There's a memorial down here in Huntsville, Alabama. That's where I'm at right now. I had to come back here because I can't be everything and anything I need to be, like I swore I would be. After I decided I can't make you fight for something you don't want to fight for. Like, if you don't see things my way, but you do. And so the spell song, we were talking, Melissa and I, while we're like, every now and then she could do it. Basically, what you have to be able to do, like, if you really accept that, okay, think about it. She's my wife, okay? Here's how it happened. And then I gotta go. I gotta go to work. Everything else is a category. Anything I mentioned but did not explain is something you can always bring up. And basically, this is like, I don't want to call it an appendix because it's at the beginning. So, it's not a table of contents either. It's basically like tree branches. Like, these are the branches that we can take from here, and depending on your responses determines on what we learn from there. There is, here it is. Okay, so there's this thing. Oh my God. I'm going to explain, Melissa, after I tell you this. Here's what we're doing. So, in math, even though they're not absolute truth, they decided that you need peers to agree with you before they accept what you believe is true. Now, I just want you to know these same system have things that they did believe were true, and they found out they weren't true. They found out they weren't true, or decided they weren't true. I don't know which one it is, because according to Google, who, I guess Google, you know what? I decided if people believe Google, fine. That's your definition. Let me tell you how I feel about it. And I'm not being outright like fucking crazy about it. I'm just like, oh, okay. If that's what you think it means, well, it means something different to me. Like, I didn't know that's what it really meant. I was thinking it meant this. And that's where communication comes in. That's why we need universal truth. We don't really need one language. We just need a way to say everything. So, the spell song is showing you a language. We called it God speaking to God. So it's us working with God. Now, I can say the God in us, but God is all around me. And what it really is if you have a human body, even though you have an inner voice, where's that inner voice coming from? If it's not your voice and you feel like you're feeling the energies of God, well, if you feel them inside of you, where are they coming from? Are you generating them? Or is your environment generating them? I'll tell you right now, other people are sending out all kinds of fucking energy. They have you locked fucking down, especially women. Especially women. Because the female body is the proof of the perfection of the Creator. For one, you have a male and a female. All they did was, you call them X's and Y's, chromosomes, whatever you want to call it. It's like one sequence in the variation. That's it. And they removed one item and totally changed something just by removing one thing. That's the way creation is. So when God added two things, well, it's like, I don't know how to, it's not an echo. It starts at two. Like, one has to be examining itself for it to be one. Like, how could you just exist without yourself unless you're God? Are you God? So when you consider things, you only need to look at yourself and not a bigger picture. And the bigger picture you look at, are you sure you're like using like rules that apply to everything? Or are you willing to change? Are you willing to learn? Or are you just going to believe what someone told you? Like, are you going to take a faith at faith and be like, you know what? I do believe this. I'm going to do everything they say because this is the way. Well, I can tell you right now, people aren't doing that. But they are. They are. They've decided, you know what? This is the right way. And when you do that, it's a choice. And if you pick a way and you don't follow it, you still made a choice. Like you decided, you know what, I'm gonna head down this road, but I mean, I'll get there when I get there. Okay, take your time, because you only have what's left, and that's not a threat. All we have is the time that's left, and no one knows what that is. That's the only way this could be equal. And here's what I had to do. So, I was in a righteous rage form of Caden. Like I made so many manifest destiny prophecies. So basically, I would like set a timeline. I'm like, and it was about money. And the reason it's about money is because about how you feel about money. Like how I feel about money is like, why the fuck are you letting money decide life and death? Like you're kidding. Like that cost $35,000. Like can't you just put it on for a few minutes and save her, please? Like can you please do that? Like I don't have that money. I don't know where we're gonna get it, but you can make it to where I look normal and I'm not burned all over. Like can you please do that for me? Oh, you don't give a fuck? But if I had the money, you did? Oh wow, okay. I mean, but that's the world we live in, and we're okay with it because we still live in it. And if we weren't okay with it, we would fucking change it because there's all kinds of us. Now, you guys have divisions over everything because that's what you're taught. And that's exactly why you're divided when it comes to God. You have all these categories and qualifications. So, the only way we can make something universal is if we simplify things. And here's the thing if I believe it, okay, if I believe it, and I believe God believes it, but no one else believes it, I must be really strong. Because the world teaches you, this world teaches you that if someone doesn't agree with you, you might want to think about what you're thinking about. Like, I don't think you're going down the right road because everybody else took this one. And some people took that one, and some people, but no one's been on that one, dude. I don't think you want to go down that road. I don't even know if that's a fucking road. I don't think you should go that way. No, everybody else went this way. Look, there's like billions of paths. Let's just pick one. Why you gotta go a different way? But you're not going a different way. You're just like going. You know where you're going, and the way is your life. The way you get there is your life. Like you're trying to like get to a place that you're living. If you're trying to find the way, I can tell you where the narrow road is. The narrow road is within. When you look within yourself and look at yourself and decide, you know what, I don't want to be this anymore. And that's what Melissa was. Like I had gotten self-righteous about my relationships and didn't realize it until I was ready to. Trust me, I was punishing myself for enough things. I'm not saying that I didn't deserve it because if I was punishing myself, I felt like I deserved it. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not trying to be above anyone. I'm just sharing with you how I viewed myself so that you understand that it doesn't, wherever you are, you can get here. All you have to do is just be here. Like, be here. I don't know why the world does not directly interact with me. It used to hurt me so bad because I could feel the way the energy changing me. I could feel you guys. And I would be like, you know what? They're going to come. It would break my wife's heart because I'd be like, okay, I think I got 30 minutes this time. I see this, I see that, this popped up. At first, I wouldn't like correlate things like that. God would have to like bring it to my attention. And God was the earth. So if you watch the movie The Edge of Tomorrow, the angel of Verdun means the angel of redundancy. That's what we made it. And basically what I'm just saying is I'm defining a cycle. So the edge of tomorrow defines a cycle of you realizing that you're the one in control. And you can reset the day. You can literally reset the day in the moment. Now, it just depends on what you consider a reset. Like if you're about to lose your shit and you just decide, you know what, you better let this shit go, dude, because you're about to fucking kill somebody. Like they will not do anything. Just stop talking to them, dude. They don't fucking understand. And they're gonna piss you off. Like they're gonna fucking say some shit that you just can't let go. You need to get to a point where you need to be able to let that go. Because if you don't, that requires action. And when you decide that something requires action or not, you've made a choice. The fourth dimension is about decision. Basically, the mind is the fifth dimension. And really, your mind is your heart and your mind. It's like HM or MH. I don't know. That's like 12. Oh, wait, that comes out to 3. Okay, so anyway, I think they call it me, myself, and I. But what it is how you view yourself, how you think other people view you, and whatever else you want to throw in there. Because I says IYE. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, I says I, you, and another person. I'm like, what? Yeah, ye used to mean like, hey, ye, you over there. I don't know, dude. That's just the way language works. So God was like, yeah, that's the way to say you and I. But not really. It's saying I and you. Like, I'm trying to show you something. That's what Y means. Like, Y is supposed to symbolize like a union of like two things becoming something. It's just any kind of union. Don't get hung up on how many things are doing it. It represents like a split or a joining. That's what Y represents. The reason that there are. Okay, so check it out. I'm supposed to explain to you the alphabet. I have to be at work at, I don't know, I think 9 o'clock today. I have to sleep. Like, it's not that I don't care. It's that I'm not channeling anything. I'm telling you exactly how I feel in the moments I feel them. There's an alarm for something. I don't know why. I have to set alarms because I don't keep track of time. It's painful for me to keep track of time. I'd rather just exist, and I don't even want to call it the now because when I'm labeling it, that means I'm not exploring it. So it's just a way to explain it. It's just you live your life the way you truly believe. And so you can say you're any kind of religion you want, but your actions and your words, everything you do, everything you think, the way you decide things is what you are. And if you never take time to reflect on that, or you decide you want to compare it to something other than like someone who sacrificed, you can choose whatever you want. But when I look at religion, basically it's everybody trying to find a way to somewhere else. To somewhere else. And it's their search to get there. It doesn't explain here. And no one realizes that. Like, it's not explaining why we're still here. Like, okay, if God was supposed to come back, what the fuck? Like, you're telling me God's in charge? This is how they do religion. So God's in charge, right? God's in charge of everything. Oh, because he's this and he's that and that. Okay, maybe you don't understand what those things are, and we should talk about them. Omni this, omni that. Damn, that's like, okay, omni is 4 things. So what are those 4 things? Like, it doesn't have to be numbers. It's just 4 different things. Like, those are not the same. They have different shapes. Like, I mean, you can tell me they're all letters, that's fine. I'm just throwing them all in a group because, I don't know, that's what I was told they go with. There's 26 of them. So, the letters have uppercase and lowercase. I'm not going to get into cursive and calligraphy because then it just goes on endless what kind of letters you can have. Now it just go on forever. So, it's just us redefining the same thing to mean something else. Okay, well, let's decide on something together that it always means. Let's go the other way. Instead of having to come up with a unique way to say something that someone already said, let's decide on a way to always say the same thing to anyone we say it to, because that's where it's at. It's the interpretation of what we're saying and the energy we're giving off, because I don't care what you're saying to me. If your energy is like, what's it called? Kendrick Lamar, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Like, I can feel your energy from a million miles away because I've already made decisions about how I'm going to interact with you, because I'm consciously choosing how I interact with people. And if I'm holding a grudge against you, I'm not doing my best to be loved, because I shouldn't even be worried about that shit. If something bad happened between you and me, we're not getting along, I shouldn't even be focused on you. It's not that I don't care. It's like, okay, so let me see what I can do with these ones. I haven't fucked them up yet. You want to look at it non-arrogantly, but really what it is like, okay, that didn't work out. Like, imagine that I'm just like some random fucking program that's trying to interact with other programs. And either it's compatible or it's not. Nope. Nope, not PlayStation 1 compatible. I'm going to try PlayStation 2. It's not that technical, but it is. And everything I do in real life is a manifestation in reality, because it's affecting the reality around me. So if I do it in Twitter, which is where's the internet at, guys? Now, we imagine it running through the sky, but really it's in your mind. It's how you interpret what you encounter, wherever the fuck that is on your phone. But where's the space that we go to talk on Twitter? Anyway, I don't know how to use technology very good, because I just held on to the things that I needed to hold on to. You know what? I held a lot of things against me. I'm not perfect. I don't know what your idea of perfect is. I'm not trying to be that. Every time I ask God what I'm supposed to do, God's like, be yourself. That's since I've been awake, okay? Okay? Because my version of God before I was awake was not kind of nice. I mean, they weren't, they're always looking down on me when I did something wrong. Like, how can you keep fucking up, dude? Like, we've been through this shit. I mean, I didn't call them God, but that's who was talking to me. And they weren't fucking nice. So when I went to God, I was like, I'm sorry I fucked up again, because that guy told me I fucked up. Like, God would just be like, dude, I'm sorry that didn't work out, man. I thought it was going to go a different way. And that's where we fucked up. Like, don't worry about how it's going to go. Just know it's going to go. And I'm not talking about, like, just sacrificing shit. I'm talking about, like, you know what? If we really work at it, we probably could agree on something. Instead of sticking to our guns, maybe we should decide something is right together. I mean, it might be a law to do this or do that, but why is it legal to drink when they know it eats away at your organs? Why is it legal to smoke cigarettes when they know they cause cancer? And not only that, they have proven that secondhand smoke is worse than the fucking smokers getting. So this is legal. At first they said they were safe. Did you know that? They have little posters remind you, do you think we care now? No, we can't care about that shit. Fuck that. That's not important. Because you know what? We're not going to change that. Because we decided we're not, I guess. Because that's the only thing stopping us. If you want to listen to all these things, that's fine. I'm not telling you to revolt. I'm telling you to look yourself in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson said. I'm looking at the man in the mirror and I'm like, damn, human beings are fucked up, dude. We don't deserve to live. Like, we do not deserve to exist. Like, I'm playing an online fucking game. There's a kid starving somewhere right now. You know what? I didn't even know that for years. I guess because I didn't want to know. And that's kind of even scarier. Now I'm taking personal responsibility. Like, before I was awake, I knew I was ignoring, like, dude, do you know that there's babies starving to death and there's a blockade? No, you don't? Well, let me tell you what was going on while you were doing this. And you want to talk about that, and I just want to tell you how painful it is to starve to death. And then, when I can't reach you, I want to let you experience it yourself so that we never let it happen again. And I have to get past that. Like, you can't owe me anything. Like, if I'm trying to be a leader, you can't owe me shit. If I'm trying to do something my way, I can't follow anyone. So instead, I just bring you with me. So the spell song is something that Melissa helped me work out, because I was overwhelmed with all this shit, and she was getting overwhelmed with it, because I have to share it. If I feel like I must share it when it first came, like, I knew it needed to be shared. Like, whatever the fuck it was, it needed to be shared. Because I had all this information, and I'm getting it from everything. All I have to do is look at something And as long as I haven't defined it, I'll see a message in it. And whatever message I see is going to be relative to my perspective of things. That's what Diamond Eyes is. So when I look at my relationships, dude, I don't care what Melissa did to me. You know why? She's been through some shit. She has been through some shit. Like this whole time, I'm telling her I am God. Like I don't know what to tell you, but like this is basically how I didn't want to tell Christians that guys. God just told me that I'm that person that comes back in Revelations 19. Yeah, you know, because I already did all that on Twitter. Like, that's exactly what I was doing. I was reproaching the whole fucking world. Like, you guys are worried about this bullshit. You want to fucking make people wait after they just lost their fucking homes for financial aid. You don't want to send people right away. Oh, you're going to, but then you're going to take them away because they got to go feed their fucking families that you're not going to take care of while they're helping other people in need. And everybody's okay with that. No one's talking about that, dude. No one's talking about that. So you got to redefine what's important. And if you're good with this life, then stay. And the sword of truth, fuck. Here's the thing. So there's this thing in coding where there's like, they have certain types of keys, right? So what we're doing is we want to use this. We're not trying to do anything. This is our example of P equals NP. So we have to define N as the information that I have and that I'm sharing with you. P would just be the presence of me sharing this information. NP is just you being able to incorporate that information. Like, if you were to write NP, and if you really needed to define it, it's like, okay, bam, here's this big block of information that everybody says is different, and people say stay away from it, and people say this, and people say that. You've never seen it. You've never seen it. No one's ever showed you. And when you come to my pages, it tells you, if you want to be a part of this, all you have to do is show someone. I don't care if they hit the like or not. Like, if one person liked it, thank you. Thank you, whoever you are, for liking that, because I'm the only one physically liking my posts according to Twitter. And that was like, what? So, Melissa could not join me on Twitter because she was already living it. Like, whatever you got on Twitter was coming from my life experiences with her. So, the story of Melissa is, let's see. I don't want to rush Dawn. I wanted to take forever to explain all this. If I set like my problem was I was setting an endpoint. Like, that's exactly why I was so depressed. And I'm not saying I'm happy, I'm just doing what I need to do. I'm not contributing emotion to this because this is me being love. Like, I'm just being who I am. And I'm not bragging. And the way we're showing you that we're loved and trying to communicate with you with the spell song is that, hey, these people said the same thing or something similar or feel the same way I have about this. Isn't that cool? Can't we agree on that? Because they said it before I did. I'm just saying it from God. You don't think God can feel that way? Oh, where do you think those emotions came from? God would never feel that way? Okay, you do know you're a part of God, right? I don't know what part you are, but you are a part of God because you're here. And if you're listening to me, you've proven it to yourself because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. There's something that resonates. I'm not telling you anything other people are telling you. I'm not trying to tell you anything that's false. I'm telling you what I've learned because I know the truth. And just like the movie Lucy, when you know the truth, if there is no ascension, there is only you are compelled to share it. If you really are loved, you are compelled to share yourself with someone. Like, you seeking love is like you looking for someone to like give you the love that you need. And God's already given it to you. And the reason you don't realize that is because of the way the world is. Like you don't have any allies unless you're lucky and you have good parents. And if you want to define what good parents are, I'm going to tell you what. They did their best to raise me. I don't feel like I was abused. I feel like I benefited from what happened to me, especially from the things I was doing. And what really, really helps you see a parent in a good, like, light where you can, like, just be like, you know what? Damn, they did the best they could. Is when you're an adult and you're facing, like, real life hardship. Like when you're poor, when you don't have a fucking house, when you don't have a place to stay, where you just gotta lay wherever the fuck you can and hope they don't trespass you because you don't want to go back to jail. I don't even think about that shit. I'm just like, I need to lay down. Because if I focus on the other shit, it's too much weight. That's what being of the world is. The more limitations I put on things, the more I'm limiting it. So I left everything to be defined when you need it to be defined. And everything that's out there, it's the truth. Everything is the truth. It doesn't matter. No one can disprove it because I'm not asking you to. I'm saying, hey, let's look at the big picture and put it all together and notice that these things we believe are true. Do you know what people believe? Some people believe in their heart that love conquers all. It may not in their life, but they believe that love conquers all. They may not get to experience it, but one day they might get to be that love that conquers all. There's people that really believe that still, and they're in pain. Anybody like that, I don't know. I hope they have it. But the definition of love, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to tell you love is everything. That's what love is. Love comes out to 9. So love's whatever the fuck it is, basically. It really. The word love comes out to 3, 5. No, fuck. Damn it. I don't know. Hold on. Don't do it. Don't even try to do it out loud. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. LO is 3, 6. Okay. Thank you so much. And 4, 5. VE. Okay, here's the thing. Do you know what L means? Okay, well, until we decide, I'm just gonna call it L. Alright? I'm gonna do the same thing with O because O looks a lot like 0, but there happens to be a big O and a little O for some reason. Okay, so we need to address these later. I'm just gonna leave it at O because that's pretty simple. V, you know what? I'm getting some kind of message about V. Apparently, V and E go together. E, why is E important? Because E represents everything in God. So, here's the thing. This is the story I was supposed to tell you. I know what I said I was going to discuss, except I don't want to raise up anybody above anything. I just want to acknowledge that Melissa is a very strong person. And she had to be, look, dude, I was ready to go. Like, I had it. I had everything ready to go. All I was waiting for was her in 2020. All I was waiting for is her. We could have left. I don't know what that meant, but I do know that we would have remained the same, like what we looked like now. Like, we wouldn't, I don't want to call it aging because what do you keep track of age? Like, our bodies wouldn't decay as fast. Basically, if things got set, if she came with me. And she told me, you know what my wife told me when I told her it was time to go? Like, okay, the God inside of her was so strong at that point that she's like, I ain't going nowhere. And she knew this was hell. Like, she knows this is hell. She's like, I'm staying right here. I'm not going anywhere with you. And she knows I'm God. Like, she knew it. I don't have to prove anything to you. She stayed with me for 10 years, and that's all I talked about. So you decide what she believed, but she didn't leave. She came after me when I left. And the reason is she had a horrible life before me. Everybody has a horrible life. I'm going to tell you right now because you're all fucking slaves. I don't care how successful you are. It's kind of sad that you're happy because you're a slave. You're just like, you know what? I did it. It's just sad. And I don't want to knock you down like that. That's why I don't bring it up. Don't look at it like that because it will be too much. Like everything will lose value, and that's not the way it really is. It just seems that way. What you put value in is what has value. That's exactly how it works. V means of. So that's the basic explanation. Like I learned the letters in the order that I needed to learn them. And it's not like I learned them, I just like it would come up. Yeah, I learned them in the way I needed to learn them. I don't know. Like in the very beginning, when the GSG, that's just what we ended up calling it because we don't know what to say. Like basically, if you have the truth inside of you, like let's say the truth is important to you, now you have to decide what that is. The only one that I can give you that is universal is you decide things. You uniquely decide things for you. There's no other way around that. I mean, you might be in a cage held down by people, and there might be only so many options, but you're still making those decisions. And it's tragic that you're in that position, and I wish the world wasn't that way. But I might be in that spot one day. So I don't know if I want to step out of line to help you. Now, I don't, they call that fear or whatever. I don't know what to call it. It's just a way of thinking that everybody shares. Like, you know what, I'm going to stay in my lane, bro. Yeah, man. Like, fuck it. I mean, yeah, that was fucked up, dude. If she did me like this, I would do that. Well, fuck. I mean, people get killed over like $25, dude. But you just broke a bitch's heart because you wanted to get a blowjob. I mean, she loves you. And you went home and told her, you know what? You wouldn't do it for me, so I went out and did it. I'm not saying that would even affect anybody. But people don't fucking care if it does. They just do whatever the fuck they want because I'm gonna do me. Okay. Well, I'm just letting you know you're making ripples. And they echo throughout time. This is your legacy. Whatever life you're living is your legacy. And what do you think people are gonna remember? Well, shit, they better remember you as love. Otherwise, they won't. Otherwise, they won't. Why would they? And if they are remembering you as something else, I don't know if you're going to have to answer for that or not. So, that's what grace is. Caitlin taught me grace. Like, I couldn't forgive myself about how our relationship ended. And her love and support of me and still being my best friend, so understanding. And, and she would not let me take all the blame. Before I stopped talking to her, I went to go live with Tom and Stephanie. Tom and Schneider, and I don't know if I should tell you their names, but whatever the fuck. I will risk everything because nothing's at risk. I've already given you my social security number. Do you know that my social security number that was given to me whenever, I don't know, you guys can look that up if it's important, by you guys, is what God said, what I brought with me. Now, I told you that numerology is the universal law. This is what we said. We decided that there's enough versions and believers in numerology that it's real because we verified it ourselves. And the way we verified numerology is real is that it's true logic, which means if you don't have a purpose for trying to reason something out, everything's going to come back to meaning nothing or whatever the fuck someone decides. You can't convince this means that unless that person decides, well, shit, you show me enough times, I guess it does. Like, unless they want, oh, wait, no, they're going to figure it out their own way. Okay, well, I went this way and you went that way. I ended up here, you ended up there. Which one's right? I think they're just locations, guys. Unless you're at the destination, I think you're at a location. And if you share your location, if everybody shared their location, we'd have information about a lot of God. Because God would be working together to know itself. That is the concept of God. If you believe God is something else, then I don't know what your God's doing. But my God is unifying itself. It's like, okay, this is what we decided. We want to be loved. So whoever wants to do that, you're welcome to come with us. We'll keep you safe. We're leaving this place. Like, we decided we don't have to do this. Like, we can't make you do anything. But we don't want to be a part of it. We're tired of you believing that we're a certain way. We're free. Anyway, I had to check the time. I totally did not explain it. These are just subjects. That's why I'm doing it this way. The code key is basically, I don't have a list of what I'm talking to you about. I'm just telling you things, the truth. You can define it however you want in whatever category. But if you have a specific question, I mentioned enough different things for it to be its own little tree. So that's what these videos will be. Like, you can make fun of me, you can be, I don't know, embarrassed for me because the human me was like, are you really gonna put this shit on like this? Like, the other me's like, really, dude? Who do you know that's done it? Like, who do you know that's really done it? No one. Have you done it? Why haven't you done it? Oh, really? Oh, because you're the voice of God and it wasn't time to use your voice? No, that's not the reasoning. I just decided, you know what? These numbers are never going to stop unless I let them. It can go on forever. I don't need to add parameters. I'm not even reinforcing anything. It's just like an echo of our presence. And the echoes from within, that's why it forced expression. Like, every time I express these things, I know what they mean when I'm defining them because I tell you what they mean. If you don't agree with me, it doesn't matter because I'm already telling you what they mean. And no one else has told you they mean these things when it comes to like the different number sequences. I never told you what 11 means, but numerology does. Well, we haven't discussed what it means between us. I'm going to tell you what it means. It means you and I. Like, we're both unique individuals. That's it. Like, 1 and 1 means, oh, look, two different things. But they're not two benches or two lights. They're a bench and a light. But they're still 1 and 1. The way you define universal truth is that it is always true. It doesn't matter. You're not like comparing things to see like, oh man, well, we'll apply it here, but we're not going to apply it there. Let's focus on this area, but we're just going to leave all this shit here and we'll come back to it later. We're going to dig down this hole, see how far it goes, and then make our decision about how things are. Now that we're in a fucking hole that we dug for years and centuries into, and you just went a certain way and you're like, you know what? Right here's the answer. Okay, well, now you decided there's different pathways to take and that you need some kind of answer. What question would you like answered? What question would you like answered? You can ask me any question. That's the whole deal I made. I told them they could pay me like $15 an hour, put me on television, get like scientists and stuff that want to talk about things. And I told them, you don't, if you want to talk about technical shit, unless it's like what I'm showing you with the actual GSG, the God speaking the God language, and why it works the way it does, then I'm not going to know about it because all I'm focused on is what I'm trying to share you so I can explain to you how I came to these conclusions because of the things you left for love to find, for anybody that's seeking truth to find. If you look, books have so much truth. And you know who decides who has truth? You decide if that book is true or not. I decided the Sword of Truth is true. And what's weird is I don't look anything. Uh-oh. Hold on. I look nothing like Richard. I don't. But if I could be a hero, that's how I would see myself. If I had enough self-esteem, I would see myself that way. But I don't. Do you know how I'm Richard? I just do what I do because of who I am. And I'm not letting what you believe I should be dictate everything about me. Like, when I was strictly a part of the human race, as, you know, like, I guess I'm one of God's children, but then they tell me that God only had one son, and they spell it like they spell son for me, and they said that they fucking murdered it, and that God is the one who demanded their murder for our sins. I guess we were so wicked that God's like, you know what? You're so fucking evil, I'm gonna kill my own child. Just to show you how much I love you. Now, I'm not saying that's what Christianity says, but if you just want to look at it like satiric, you know what? It's fucked up, dude. That does not make any sense. So you're telling me that Jesus had to suffer the way Jesus suffered because God was proving a point that when you sin, you're going to have to pay for your sins. And I want you to know how I'm serious about this shit. Look, that's my only child. That's my only child, and I'm letting you do it. I'm letting them go through that. Now, if you can believe that God would do that, and you still want to pray and worship and sing songs to that God, you do that. But I don't want to fuck with that dude. Because if he'll do that to his kid, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to me. Like, I don't know, dude. And that's how I saw it. I was like, I can't accept this part. That's it. Like, I'm like, Jesus, I don't know if Jesus was real. I don't know anything. I'm just like, dude, okay. This is what this dude said. And it sounds right. He said, all I gotta do is love God. It doesn't say nothing about anything else with everything I got and get along. Now, if someone's your neighbor, they're not your enemy. So you guys have all these different definitions. We need to know what they mean together. A friend is someone you love. That is not your romantic partner. That is the most basic way I can make friendship. But it's a simple definition. I don't know what it says in the dictionary. I didn't look because this is what I decided a friend is as love. Like, I love you, that's why you're my friend. Sometimes I feel awkward saying it because no one says that. I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I'll be at work and I'll just be like, I love you guys. And maybe people do say that, but I don't hear them saying it. I'm the only one who's saying it just randomly, like, especially, like, if I'm just really myself. I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like, we did a good job. Normally I'm painting myself as a fuck up. Like, if something goes wrong, I'm like, I'm sorry. If you're picking on someone, I'll be like, I'm sorry. And it's like, what? You didn't even do anything. No. I'm sorry. It was my fault. And they're just like, what the fuck do you mean? It's because I didn't stop you from doing that. I'm sorry you are that type of person. You can take it however you want. I don't care. I'm just apologizing. Because obviously you need some kind of apologize because you're bitching about something. And I just want to make it right. That's what they taught me in fast food. If I could just make it right, we can move on, right? I don't know. People hold on to, some people say, I never forget anything. And I'm like, wow. Like, how do you do that? How do you even have those memories? Because I don't hold on to things like that anymore. And it's not because it's not important to someone. It's just, if I know someone's love, then that's enough, and I can carry them as love. And if it's not, maybe I need to redefine what love is. It is painful to be lonely as a human being, okay? So when someone leaves your life that you cared about, especially a young child or something like that, there's no way to compare that to anything. Like, you lost a piece of yourself if you really loved them. And what am I supposed to say to you except, there's nothing to say. What are you supposed to say to that? That's something you have to work through. And decide that, you know what, they're still with you. Because as long as you love them, you don't have to mourn them. You can just celebrate them. You can let them dwell with you. Because what you believe either allows them to or prevents them from doing it. And you decide whether or not they can do that or not. But I'm telling you, if you put your loved ones in your heart, that's where they are. Where else would they fucking be in the world if they're not in the world? But if you're thinking about them, and they're in your heart and mind, then they exist. You don't have to let people die in that sense. You shouldn't. Like that song, Leave Out All the Rest. Like, you know what? Granny always knew what to say when shit got awkward. She just come out with whatever. And I'm not going to make up something because I don't want to take away from anything that really happened. You decide why that person is love to you. And if it's a painful kind of love, maybe they're not love. Maybe you've been taught that's how love goes. But maybe that's not the type of love I'm talking about. So, okay, see, every time I look at my screen, because I'm not looking, I'm just talking. Are you kidding? I'm kind of shy. That's why I didn't talk before. Because I'm trying to say a whole bunch of stuff and I really don't know how to say it all the time in words. That's why I use God speaking, because God's like, okay, look, here's the deal. Everybody's got a different vocabulary, okay? Everybody learned letters and alphabet and shit the way they learned it. You're not going to change that. So, here's what we're going to do. Unless people have questions, we're going to teach you how to talk to everybody. The way you do that is you just take out the spaces. And God's like, what we're doing is removing the space between you and them. And the space is the focus. So the space between us is our focus on each other. If you read those messages, sometimes they say different things depending on how you feel. Because it's your perception that's determining what words you pick out. They have all kinds of puzzles like that. They're like, the first 3 words are you. Well, if you read one of my tweets and it says, "Aw, child of God, thank you so much for being loved," but if you look at it one day and it says, "You're going to pay for everything you did," and it's the same fucking message, I don't know, that might be unique. I don't know, people do that. It's, you might see it when you're reading it and be like, wait, this doesn't make any sense, until you see all the separate words and you're like, holy shit, this is the message. I'm not going to tell you what it means, because I already did when I made the primary message. Like, I'm telling you, hey, this is God talking to you and saying, we're going to be loved. Are you in or out? Because we're going. Like, we're going to do this. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, we have a choice. So you can decide that God doesn't have a free will, but don't you have one? And I'm not going to say, I mean, are you putting yourself above God? I don't know where you are at that. Because people think about God in a lot of different ways. God's my everything. Like, I can't, God does not hurt me. Like, if God hurt me, it's because I didn't understand something. I misinterpreted something. Like, maybe I'm not really thinking about God. Maybe I'm focusing on how I feel. Because God's telling me all the time, I love you. I love you. I just want you to know that. And I'm with you. Anyway, I have to take a nap. I'll tell you about Melissa and Caitlin and Elaine and all the women in my life that are so beautiful and strong. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my, like, I stopped crying about it, but I feel like people don't care enough about themselves. And then when I try to explain what I'm telling them about, now I'm judging them because they care about this. Oh, they're not as good as me. No. Look. When you put a whole bunch of value on a whole bunch of different things, that's a lot of shit to keep track of. So I'm telling you, we're keeping track of too much shit. And that's what I had to realize in my own life. So the goal is to let you see us evolving through the dimensions, if you want to call it that, through thought, through emotion, these places and things you feel that you've been but have no known location within you. Like, you feel them. Oh yeah, your body's racked with emotion. But where's it coming from, dude? Oh, it's coming from those glands? Damn. Okay. Where's all that energy coming from you're sending out with those spells? Oh, you know where it's coming from? You have a specific place, you know exactly where it is? Wow. That's cool. I'm just telling you, people know a lot of stuff. Maybe we should get together and see what keeps showing up and keeps proving itself true. If you love someone and you're suffering, that's not a part of love. That's love holding on to something that the other person doesn't care about. And it might be you. So Remember to love yourself. It's the hardest thing to do in this world because you're taught you need to be these things to be good enough. They don't say that shit, but if you aren't, sometimes they do say shit. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're not sharing. Everybody's like trying to get a home or trying to get this or trying to get that car. You know what? You're doing exactly what it said not to do. It said don't worry about what someone else has got. Worry about what you got with God. And hopefully it's a friendship. Because that's the kind of relationship it needs to be. It has to be a friendship. At least. Because if God's not your friend, man, you got a rough ass life. And I'm sorry. And I hope that you realize that God is your friend. And you just let them in. The song I Apologize from Five Finger Death Punch is the song we shared. So that you know what prayer to sing to let God in. Just sing that song to God and know that God's singing it to you. It's the first time God's getting through, and they want to make sure you know that sorry it took them so long to get through to you. Like they're not blaming you. So how you view things is how they begin.